And in the chat box, please do not type any spam in that, okay? Be a good boy and good girl. All right, I guess it's time to start. Are you guys ready? If you're ready, just type 1 in the chat box, let me know. And get yourself muted. Just interact in the chat box today. All right. So just check if you are muted, everyone. See if you are muted. If you're not, just get yourself muted. So today, it's required that you just get a same piece of paper. I don't have that, but you need to have that, okay? And a pen. All right, so let's get started. Stop doing that, or just close this, the chat box. All right, so everyone, just give you this really simple calculation here, which is 4 times by 6. And we know that is 24 here. But what do we learn from that, everyone? I'm going to give you this new calculation. So what about we do like, some of you are not muted, check it. He's got muted, okay? He's got muted. Stop chatting.
Okay.
Some of you are not muted. Please check it. Okay. I can listen of the voice. All right. Yeah. So let's go. We know that 4 times by 6 will be 24. But what about this? What about 12 times by 6? What is the change here, everyone? So I enlarge one of the multiplier by 3. Right? I times 3 to 4. And we know that the answer should be changed in the same way in the multiplication, right? So you're going to do 24 times by 3 as well. And that gives us the answer, which is 72. Yeah, it's really simple. And let's move on. What if we do this? We know that 4 times by 6 is 24 as well. And this time I'm going to do 4 times by 60. What's the answer here? Anyone? You just type your answer in the chat box. If you times 10, enlarge one of the multiplier, the result going to be changed in the same way. Do you know why? Because we have that associate. We can just swap the position of these two multipliers, right? So we're going to times 10 to the result is 240. And let's try one more thing here. Also this one, 4 times by 6, which is 24, right? But I'm going to do divide by 2. I'm going to narrow this one, okay? Reduce 4 by 2 times, that gives us 2. And then times by 6, that is 12. So you see the change to the product going to be the same, right? Divide by 2. And now I'm going to give you one more, which is the last one. So 4 times by 6 is 24. And let's do this. You're going to find the change here by yourself. I'm going to do 16 times by 3. What happened here? I times 4 to one of the multiplier and then divide by 2 to another one. So basically, as for the result, I should times by 4 and divide by 2 at the same time, right? So what do we have? When you do times by 4 and divide by 2, that is just times by 2. So the answer is just 48. All right? Times by 2 as a result. Okay, so I think you have already know that when we do the multiplication, The change to the multipliers should be the same as the change to the result. Okay, so let's just use this method to solve these kind of questions here. You know, given that this kind of complicated thing, $356 times 102 equals to this number. And that is the information we have now. So how can we use this information to solve all of these questions here? Let's see, this is question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, 5, and 6. Okay, let's order it. So for the first one, let me ask you, if I want to change from 356 to 3,560, what should I do here? What's that change to these multiplier? Yes, times by 10. You're right. And just leave another multiplier unchanged, right? So it means the final result should be the same change. Then I multiply by 10 to the original result. That will be 36312 and add 0 at the end. Okay, so that's the first one. And now we're going to move on to the second one here. So what's going to be the change from 356 to 0.356? What's going to be the change here, everyone? Tell me. We divide by, or we reduce this number by how many times? How many times? Think about it. If you don't know how many times, you just look at the decimal point. You move that left by 1, 2, and 3 digits. Means you divide that by 1,000. Okay? And for another multiplier here, it's 102. And now it's 1,020, means we times by 10 to that. So if you divide by 1,000 and times by 10, what's the final result, everyone? So you need to divide by 1,000 and times by 10. So basically, you just divide by 100. Are we good? Yeah. So for the final result, it should be 36312 to divide by 100. So when we divide by 100, we're going to move that decimal point left by 2 digits. So that should be 363.12. Are we good, everyone? So far, so good? All right. So it's time to move on to the third one. So for this one, I'm going to give you 20 seconds. You just solve this one by yourself. Tell me what's the answer here. What do you get here? All right. I guess I have already got some good answers here. Yes, everyone, all of you are correct. It should be 3.6312. Yeah. So for the first multiplier here, we divide that by 100. And for the second one, we still divide by 100. So basically, as a result, as for the product, we need to divide by 100 by 2 times, right? So basically, just divide by 10,000. So how do we get final result? You need to move that decimal points. So here, 36312. This is decimal point, right? Left by 4 digits. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is gonna be the decimal point here. And the answer should be 3.6312. Are we all good, everyone? Can give me a sum up or emojis that you like. Tell me we can move on. Yep. So let's move on to the question number 4 here. You see this one, we just keep that 356 unchanged, and we only change this 204. And actually we just times by 2 to the original number, right? So the final result, what do you need to do to the final result? You need to times the original result by 2. So what do you get? That should be 72,624. Yep. So also for this question number 5, everyone, try to solve this one by yourself. Tell me what is your answer for the question number 5. What is the change to these two multipliers here? Yep, you're right. So for the first multiplier, we just times the original number, which is 356 by 2. And for the second one, we just divide that by 2. So you see, for the final result, you times by 2 and you divide by 2. So basically, you do nothing here. The answer will change, will never change, right? So it's just 36312 as well. Yeah. All right, so it's time to move on to the last one. Someone just asked me to control my screen. No, it won't be accepted. Okay, I reject you. Let's move on to question number 6. So you see, for the first multiplier, we just times that original number by 2. And for the second one, I times by 10. So as a result, I need to times by 20. And we already know that in the question number 4, this is the number when you times by 2. So you just add 0 at the end. That will be the final answer. So 7, 2, 6, 2, 4, and 0 at the end. Yes. So we finished about the multiplications, relationship between the multiplier and your products. And now we're going to move on to the divisions. Are you ready, everyone? Let's go to the second part. There you go. Someone would ask, oh, well, you still give us a multiplication. The first step is that I'm going to change that into a division here. Oh, sorry, it should be division. Just cross this one, it's not correct. So 48 divide by 8, you got 6. That's right, this time. All right, so let's see. What do we call this number just before this division sign, everyone? What do we call this? What is the term? Is that the division sign, the number before the division sign? What do we call this? It's called dividend. Okay, do you know that? Yes, Hanling, you're right. It's dividend. And this number, what do we call that? What do we call that?
Divisor.
Yes, it's divisor. You're right.
The divisor.
Okay, you're all right. It's divisor. And what is the result? How do we call that?
Quotient.
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 Just get yourself muted. Just type the words in the chat box, okay? Yes, it's quotient. All right.
Mama.
Please, everyone, some of you are not muted. Please get muted. And then I'm going to move on. All right. So, you see, we know that 48 divided by 8 equals to 6. And now, if I times, means I enlarge this dividend by 10, what's going to happen to the result? So you see, we're going to do 480 divided by 8. What do we get? Yes, it's 60. So it means the change to the result can be exactly the same as the change to the dividend. Yes, are we good? Okay. And then after that, this is going to be a little bit different here. We know that 48 divided by 8, that will be 6. And now this time, I would like to times 2 to the divisor. So this new calculation should be 48 divided by 16. So the answer will change into 3, right? So you see, the change to the quotient, is that the same to the divisor? Yes or no? Is that the same to the, yeah. Is that yes or no? Nope. No. So what's going to be the change here? The change to the dividend, to the quotient, going to be the change to the divisor as some way, as inverse way, right? Going to change in the inverse way. So if you times by 2 to the divisor, if you never change, you just leave the dividend unchanged. So for the result, you need to divide by 2. All right. So let's do one more example here. 48 divided by 8 equals to 6, right? And this time, I'm going to do 240 divided by 48. What's that? So how can I get from this, 48 to 240? I times by 5, right? And as for the divisor, what is the change here? I times that by 6. So as for the result, everyone, the result should be 6 itself. And then, we know that the change to the result is going to be same as the dividend. So we times 5 here. But as for the divisor, it's going to change in the inverse way. So you divide by 6. So 6 divided by 6, you got 1. 1 times 5, you got 5 here. Are we good, everyone? Give me a sum up if you understand everything here in this page. Okay? Are we good? Yep. So I guess it's time to move on. Let's do some practice. All right. So given that 204 times by 24, which is 4,896. So that is given information here. And we're going to do this, use this information to answer all of these following questions. The first step is that you're going to rewrite this multiplication into 2 of the divisions. One is that 4,896 divided by this 204 equals to 24. And another one is going to be like this, divided by 24, you got 204. So let's say this is calculation 1 and this is calculation 2 here. All right, so let's move on to question number 1. Okay, I'm gonna name it first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's just go to question number 1 here. So tell me, what is the change here? Do we change the dividend or the divisor? 1 for dividend, 2 for divisor. Which one has been changed? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 2 for divisor, 1 for dividend. Of course, we just changed the divisor here, right? And originally it should be 204, but now it's 102. Means we divide that original number by 2 to get that new divisor. And we know the result should be changed in a reverse way, in an inverse way, right? So it should be 24 times by 2, not divided by 2. It's times by 2, okay? So the answer is 48 here. Are we good? So everyone, try to solve the second question by yourself. First, you need to spot, is that divisor or dividend has been changed. And then think about it. The dividend, the change to the result is going to be the same as the dividend, but in the inverse way as they change to the divisor. All right, so I guess everyone got a correct answer. You're so smart. So 51, if I want to change from, 204 into 51 means you need to divide by 4. So the answer will be 24 times by 4. All right, times by 4. And that should be 96 as a final result here. Okay, Question number 3. What's the answer? Tell me. So this time I changed the dividend and divisor at the same time. So what's gonna be the final answer? Everyone tell me. Do not type any spam in the chat box, just type the answers. Okay, what's your answer? Yes, it's 48. You're so good. So for the first, which is a dividend, what should I do to that? I just divide by 2, right? And for the divisor, I divide by 4. So you just check it. Is that answer 24 divided by 2 and divided by 4? Am I right? Am I right? Yes or no? No, it's not divided by 4. You need to do that in the inverse way. So it should be times by 4. All right, I'm gonna erase that. It's not divided by 4. It's times by 4 here. Let's change my color to spell that. So times by 4. So basically, if you do divide by 2 and times by 4, you just times by 2. So the answer should be 48. Okay. And then question number 4. Tell me, this is calculation 1, this division 1, and this is division 2 in this triangle. Tell me, which one should we use this time? Is that division 1 or division 2? You need to spell that first. Yes, it should be 2. Just tap that on it once, everyone. Okay, so we're going to use the division 2. Let's say what happened here. So as for the divisor, we times that by 2, right? We times 2 to the 24, we get 48. Means the result going to be times by 2 or divide by 2. So it should be 204 times or divide by 2. You need to do that in inverse way, right? So it should be divided by 2. So you get 102 here. Okay. So let's move on to the second one. I can give you 30 seconds. Everyone, just type the answer of the second one to me.
What type of, is this a distributive law type of question?
No, it's not a distributive law. It's just the rule of the change to the result when we do the multiplications and the divisions. So basically, I'm teaching you the relationship between the dividend, the divisor, and the result when we do the division, and also the relationship between the multipliers and the products when we do the multiplications. Okay? Understand? So, see, what's your answer, everyone? Tell me. It's 2, it's 20. So how many zeros do you have that after that? After that 4, how many zeros? Is that 3 zeros or only 2 zeros? Everyone just be really careful. So as for the dividend, you times by 10, right? Because originally you have this 4,000 something, and now you got 48,000. So you times by 10. And as for the divisor, how do you get 0.24 from 24? How do you get that? Tell me, how do you get that? You divide by 100, right? So basically, as for the result, it should be 204. So first, you just look at the dividend. That's going to be the same change. So times by 10 first. And what about the next one? You need to do divide by 100 or times by 100. It should be divide or times. Because there's a divisor, the change is going to be an inverse way, right? So times 100. So what is your final answer? Type that in the chat box, everyone. What is your final answer? It should be, yes, 3 zeros at the end. Because you times that by 1000. So 204 at the end, you got 3 zeros. You all got the correct answer, everyone? Are we good? Okay, so last one. Last question. So how can you get this number from 4,896? This is a dividend, right? You divide by what number? And for the second one, from 24 to this one, you also divide by what number? And as for the result, we should be 204. You do some change to that. Okay, think about it. What you got? So for the dividend, you divide by 100. You know why is that 100? Reduced by 100. You just look at the decimal point, the position of that. If you see you've changed from 4,096 and the decimal point is here, and you move that to the left by 2 points, means you divide by 100. Okay, and for the next one, original number in the divisor is 24, and this will be the decimal point. And how do you get that 0.024? You move 1, 2, and 3 digits. So that gives you 0.024, means you divide by 1000 here. Okay, that's the way how we found that. And then you know that the change to the dividend gonna be the same as the result, so divide by 100, and you need to pay extra attention to that. When we change the divisor, the answer will change in the inverse way, so times 1000. All right, so 204 divided by 100 times 1000, basically just times by 10. The final answer should be 2040. 2040. Are we good, everyone? Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically that's all for today, but don't leave. I'm gonna give you some quick quiz. See if you remember the thing that we learned yesterday. So tell me, if I do 2 times by 5, what is the answer? 2 times by 5. Type that in answer in the chat box. It's 10. But what about, let's say, 4 times by 25? What you got? What you got? Type that. It should be 100. Yes. And then one more. 8 times 125. What is that? It's 1000. Okay, I can give you one more. I never talked about that before yesterday. So what about 16 times 625? Does anyone know that? Does anyone know that? You just use the knowledge we learned today, okay? So from 8 to 16, what do you get? What do you do here? You times by 2, right? And from 125 to 625, you times by 5. So as for the result, it just should be 1000 times 2 and times 5 at the same time. Yes, you guys are so clever. So basically times by 10. That is 10,000. Good. And after that, let's do one more review here. So what about 3 times 37? What is that number? When you do 3 times 37? Yeah.
111.
Yes. And give me one more question here. What about we do 27 times 37? What is that?
999.
It should be 999. Okay. So one more thing here. The last thing I'm gonna review today. Tell me which 3 numbers you times that together. You get 1001.
7, 11, and 13.
Can everyone
Get
just
muted,
shout out, please?
Get muted. Just type that numbers. Yes, 7, 11, and 13. Okay. So tell me, what is the result of this calculation? 49 times 11 times 30. What is that number? Type that in the chat box. Let me know. Yes, you're clever. 7007. That's it. Because we know that 49 just equals to 7 times by 7. All right, everyone, time is up. So it's just exactly 30 minutes. So any questions? No questions? So let's just call it a day. I'm gonna give you the practice in the WeChat group. Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hope you enjoy this session, everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna close this one.